8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 0, and liftoff for the final launch of Endeavour, expanding our knowledge, expanding our lives in space.
Houston, Endeavour, all programs.
Roger, roll, Endeavour.
We can't allow people to tell us what we can or can't understand. If we can understand the universe, we can understand just about anything. So it's a tremendously empowering thing to be able to study and understand the universe. I'm Derrick Pitts. I'm Chief Astronomer here at the Franklin Institute Science Museum. I'm also the Planetarium Programs Director and Senior Scientist here. I also have the privilege of being a NASA Solar System Ambassador. A Solar System Ambassador is a person who works in the field that creates programming for audiences to help them understand about the kind of astronomical research and actually planetary research that NASA conducts, helping people to understand more about the planets of our solar systems. People often ask me when I discovered my love of astronomy, and it's kind of a hard question for me to answer because in many ways I don't really remember. All I know is that probably by the age of 4, I knew I was interested in astronomy and space science. Often we think of astronomy as being far too esoteric, not so practical a pursuit. At the same time, astronomy is probably one of the oldest sciences, if not the oldest science. People have been studying astronomy ever since the first people to walk the planet sort of looked up and went, "Ooh, what's that thing up there?" Before language was available. So we've always had a cosmic connection to the universe. The first people walking on this planet spent time outside at night and wondered about what was up there. For us to be able to study astronomy is really a way for us to study who we are and where we may have come from and where we may be heading. It's about us as explorers, because when we think about trying to understand the universe out there, it's really a lot about trying to understand the universe up here. Our ability to be able to understand the vast universe also tells us a lot, again, about what we're capable of understanding. With this little 6-pound object up here inside our skulls, we are able to understand not everything by a long shot, but quite a bit. So that tells us about our capability to understand anything of any sort of complex subject or concept. One of the most exciting objects in astronomy are black holes. A black hole is the result of a very high mass star, say 6 times the mass of our star, exploding at the end of its life and then collapsing. So what actually is a black hole? What's the structure of a black hole? Well, it's actually comprised of a couple of different components. One component is the singularity itself, and that singularity is the collapsed star. Maybe about the size of this planet, maybe even slightly smaller than the size of this planet. But imagine packing all of the mass of a star 6 times the mass of our star into something the size of the Earth. What makes it a black hole is the fact that that very small object still has the gravitational pull of that object that is 6 times the size of our sun. What this does is it makes it impossible for energy to escape from this object. So a black hole is really just a collapsed star. The reason why it can't be seen, the reason why it's black, is because the escape velocity of light from the surface of that object is greater than the speed of light. The escape velocity goes up, greater than the speed of light, so we can't see it because light can't escape. One of my favorite activities to do these days is something I call guerrilla astronomy. It's just where I take a telescope out into Center City, Philadelphia, plop it down on a street corner where I think there's going to be a lot of traffic in the evening, and set it up so people can look through it, and then give people a chance to see an astronomical object through a good telescope right in a Center City environment. I'm particularly disturbed about this concept that nothing can be seen in an urban area because it teaches kids in an urban environment that there's no reason for them to look up into the night sky because they can't see anything. To me, what that does is it damps down their experience, and in turn, it can also damp down their sort of imagination about what's possible to do. I think that astronomy is a great avenue for kids to develop an interest in science. I love to teach kids in urban environments that there's plenty for them to see. I love to teach them how to see a particular kind of planet or look at a particular aspect of the moon, and then encourage them to pass that information on to others in their neighborhood. But if I can teach a child how to do that, that empowers the child with knowledge, and it gives them a confidence in their ability to connect to something that's so far away, considered so remote, considered so esoteric. We are all part of the universe. The universe is all part of us. And every child, no matter where they are, deserves to understand that they are part. And one of the quickest ways to make that happen is to teach them how to observe and identify these things. Eat, breathe, do science, sleep later. This is Derrick Pitts for Mondo Black.
X5. Boy, is this a neat way to travel. Isn't it great?